Hi, it's Lydia Griffith with Firehorse Wisdom. I'm happy to be with you today, looking at our week ahead for November 3rd with a full moon and our official start of the month of the pig according to BaZi Chinese astrology, also called Four Pillars. So if this sparks interest for you, please consider liking, following along, and if you're on YouTube, subscribing to the channel. Happy to be with you. I am a master BaZi astrologer, Feng Shui consultant with over 20, almost 25 years of experience. I also have wonderful other offerings, including grief ceremony and spirit consultations as well, as far as like spiritual guidance. So you can check the Firehorse Wisdom website for all of that. Also, we have now launched the 2026 year ahead New Year updates for your BaZi astrology. So let's look at this week ahead. And again, it is a transformative time. We are making a shift. And we always feel this. The other thing to notice is at the end of this week, Mercury goes retrograde. It's very interesting to marry Western astrology, which is of the sky, with Eastern astrology, which is of the earth, and all about the 5 elements. When we look at Monday the 3rd, this is a yang fire rat. This feels very much like a pot in reverse. You've got the fire and the water underneath, okay? There is, again, we remember that our month is still the month of the dog. And we have the year of the snake. This day, I was thinking this is like radical raging riots is what I wrote down for this day, because that yang fire is so like roar, right? It's a lot of energy in there. And the rat is about gathering people together. It also can be about gathering financial data, things having to do with money. And again, collecting. What are you collecting? Collecting information, collecting objects, whatever that thing is. But it is very emotionally charged. So there is something to this start of the week that feels electrified and emotionally charged. Take that how you need. I know. Tuesday is a yin fire ox. The ox is the earth element of wintertime. So the yin fire sitting on top is an interesting placement. But there's an earth penalty formed with the month of the dog that we are still in for a few more days. So there is a tension. There is a stress here. And I would say it's a stress. And again, there's emotion to this start of this week about righting wrongs, course correcting, thinking you're doing the hardest job, really pushing yourself. But the stress, the anxiety, the tug of war is really creating a situation. So monitor this for yourself, right? Really feel into what is the effort that I'm putting into something and the emotional response attached to that. Because if you're doing something that doesn't feel good, there's something there to obviously explore. And maybe you need to instill better healthy boundaries. Maybe you need to sit with yourself and come to honest terms about what's really going on. Wednesday, we have a yang earth tiger. And that feels like there's a fire penalty, first of all, with the year of the snake, day of the tiger. The interesting thing is the yang earth sitting on top of the tiger, which is yang wood, is in opposition. The wood controls the earth, but in this situation, earth is on top of the wood. So it's a strange situation. It's like a monk in a cave kind of day. You're going off on your own, climbing your own mountain, going off on your own journey. That could be in your head, that could be in your heart, wherever. But it's very much that monk in the cave, going off and kind of brooding over something that feels like it's pressing down on you, that's a heavy thing. It's also a full moon in Taurus. I believe. Yes, it is. So that's November 5th. And that full moon in Taurus is very interesting, that the BaZi Astrology is earth and wood. Because I believe Taurus is a very earthy zodiac sign. It's very, I always think of things like agriculture and food with Taurus. But yeah, so notice how you are choosing to possibly isolate. And if you are feeling that, especially again with the fire penalty, possibly making relationships a bit wonky, might be a really great full moon to go on your own little walkabout, whether that's in your own apartment, your neighborhood, or going off on a little day trip adventure just for you. But it feels like it's a quiet time. And that is really the mood we're heading into as we get closer to the month of the pig. There is a video about the forecast, the BaZi Astrology forecast for this month of the pig, one of the most volatile months of 2025. And in addition to that, I also have a video about the flying stars Feng Shui for November that's also gone out. And I will start posting things about 2026. I don't know about you, but I find just getting through these days right now challenging enough. And when I spider web and fast forward my brain out into the future too far, I don't know that it's always helpful. Sometimes we really need to stay in the moment. But those videos are coming too. So Thursday, again, we have this reversed polarity, if you will, of yin earth rabbit. It's like you're buried in your mood. You're buried in your head. You are, I mean, just look at the trajectory of this week, right? It's a radical, raging riot of a start. Whatever it is that we're collecting or gathering with is emotionally charged. We go into then this earth penalty of stress and emotionally charged effort to get something done, going then into your monk's cave with this penalty with the snake and the tiger on Wednesday, with the full moon, is a lot going on there. A lot. Then Thursday, there's this mood. It is just a mood. And you just very much may feel like you're trying to negotiate and navigate your way in or out of relationships, conversations that are just sideways. And here we're getting closer and closer to Mercury going retrograde, when things having to do with communication are going to get wonky anyway. So it's like we're starting already. We're getting close. The last day of the month of the dog is the 7th, Friday. This is a yang metal dragon. I wrote down for this one, this is like preschool. Somebody handed you a rainbow and your little friend next to you takes the scissors and snippity snip snips your rainbow into a whole bunch of pieces. Could be a negative. Could be somebody like taking your innovative idea and saying, I'm going to over edit this to like the point where like all your whiz and fabulousness is gone. But it could be an interesting thing of sharing your magic and how you're sharing that magic. But just to continue this funky little narrative of this week, the dragon is the enemy of our month of the dog, which is in its shadow. The dog is starting to back out. The entrance of our challenging month of the pig is starting to walk in. We have We're in the shadows of a full moon. We've got Mercury retrograde around the corner. It's a lot of astrology. And again, I love looking at both of them. The marriage of these two really helps us to navigate. If you ask me, my overall feeling is we should all be heading into the monk's cave this week and kind of hanging out there for the month of November. The best that you can, slow down your pace, ramp up your self-care, find healthy outlets, not consuming crap tons of sugar and processed foods, but like this is like soup season and ginger tea and things like that. Like amp up the self-care that's really healthy for you. And it could be a really great time for composting, reflection, journaling, meditation, getting out into nature, but it definitely has a more isolated, solitary vibe to it. So we leave this cut up rainbow, in which maybe you cut the rainbow up and served it up to all your people in the office and everybody took a piece of this creative genius idea of yours, and they're all going to stitch it back together in something that's really, really cool. Play with that energy on Friday. Play with how you're leading and driving the train of your life. And again, you might be driving your train up into the mountains, into that cave. Saturday. Saturday is a yin metal snake day that begins our month of the yin fire pig. The enemy is at the gate, my friends. There are hidden dangers. What is lurking in the shadows? Now, this is also interesting because the vibe, and again, I talk about this in the month ahead video. Also, you can check out the Fire Horse Wisdom website to see the blog I've written about this as well. The snake and the pig are enemies. The fact that this day of this month begins on a day of a snake and the year of the snake with this month of the pig, yeah, it is a full-on battle. That could be very internal as well as external. May have nothing to do with you. You may not notice this at all. Let's hope for that. Could be very much seen in our collective world, though. What is happening on the 8th of November. And guiding us now into Sunday with Mercury going retrograde and how that lands for you. Just want to make a shout out to Lori Lothian of Vancouver, Canada. I love her take on the astrology for November. I was listening to that the other day. Really enjoy the way that she delivers it. And it's very succinct and it's very I always say astrology, no matter what flavor you lean towards, or maybe you lean into both, Western and Eastern, is that it should speak to you in a way that you can apply it to your daily life in a way that gives you greater ease and grace, right? That we can navigate all of this. So the energy of this feels very Scorpio, the snake and the pig. The pig ultimately is everybody's best friend. It is a Chinese animal that really is about the pleasures of life and enjoying all the yumminess, the goodness of life. They're very giving, friendly, warm-natured. That's the energy. The snake is very discerning, behind the scenes, introspective. And the snake sits opposite on the compass in Feng Shui. One is in the northwest, one's in the southeast. And it really is, this is like a head-on battle. One is fire, one is water, it's steamy. The nature of this is to, again, turn inward. You know, we think of that Scorpio going inward, almost like, into the 12th house, the shadowy aspects of ourselves, and using this time for self-inquiry, meditation, connection to nature, and being more solitary. After all, the pig also enters us into early winter, according to BaZi Chinese astrology. And so as we go into early winter, wintering is an action. Wintering is what we innately embody with ourselves. It's how you're feeling. As winter approaches, we want coziness, comfort. We amp up the amount of rest that we have. We dial down the amount of doing that we do. And you have agency to kindly request doing less with the people in your life and reordering your day-to-day schedule so that you can allow for that needed time for yourself to recharge every day. We end this week with a yang water horse, the horse being yin fire. And there is a big waterfall coming down over a little flame of fire. So again, as we began the week with yang fire over the water of the rat, we end with the reverse. You may feel a bit tumbled around this week, and there's a lot of emotion. It could be grief, it could be rage, depending on how it comes out, right? Emotional abandon. And again, the hermit's retreat. The horse is an energy. It is fast-moving, impulsive, passionate, can be kind of fiery angry. It can be fiery passionate, like sexy too. But it's very independent. And I'm getting this vibe all through this week of the need for us to spend more time alone or with somebody that you live with in a far more quiet environment that allows for everyone's nervous system to just chill out. Yeah. Alrighty. Time to back up your computers, all your systems. I also think, if I'm not mistaken, that we probably lose daylight savings time in this week as well. Yeah, so it might be darker in parts of the world now too. So all the things, big transition time. And when we go through transition, that in and of itself can be a spike to our nervous system. Take it easy, my friends. Breathe deeply. Breathe mindfully. Slow the pace. Slow the breath. You've got this. And until next time, please be well.